the 9th of November, Rabbi Levitt, Gomorrah.
Okay, good. So, let's see, where are we up to over here? In Bava Kama. We got onto Peches, didn't we? Oh yeah, we got up to the new section. Up to new section, and let's just start over again. Let's see, yeah, just before we do that, we need a little introduction about what this section is about. So this section is going into the part of the Mishnah which talks about the Chovel be'eved Kanani Shalacherim. Now, where exactly is this Mishnah? This Mishnah can be found on Pei Zion Amud Aleph, when the wide lines start. And we go down a little bit.
In the Mishnah or the Gomorrah?
In the what our Gomorrah is commenting now is on a line in the Mishnah on 87a.
Oh, I see it.
This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down from the where the Mishnah begins. Over there it says a chovel be'eved Kanani shalacherim. Someone who injures, causes a chavola, chovel, injury, to an Eved Kanani that belongs to someone else. Chayiv b'kulan. He's obligated to make all of the payments, all 5 payments. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ein la'avodim boshes. Here's where Rabbi Yehuda says, avodim, there is no boshes for them. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so what exactly does that mean that Rabbi Yehuda says that? Does it mean that they don't receive it? Does it mean they don't give it? And the Gemara is going to ask, what's the reason that he holds this? And we'll try to figure out, based upon the reason that the Gemara gives, what exactly the din of Rabbi Yehuda is over here. What does he mean, ein lavodim boshes? They don't have boshes. Okay, so now, having said that, let's go back to start our section, which is the first line, 5 lines down from the top of page 88. A. My timer, the Rebbe Yehuda. More wants to know, we understand the Tanakama, who said that one who injures an Eved Kanani belongs to somebody else, he's chayev he's obligated to pay all the payments. Chayav b'kulan. But Rabbi Yehuda says, avodim don't have boshes. So Gomorrah wants to know why does Rabbi Yehuda hold like that? What's the basis for his holding that? So let's take a look and see what the Gomorrah answers. Okay, so now we go to Alan.
Page 88A1. Right, the Gemara now discusses another section of the Mishnah. Is that it?
That's it.
The Eved, Kanani, Shel, Harim, Chayiv, Chayiv.
I'm sorry. You got to go down one paragraph.
One more? Gemara asks?
Gomorrah asks.
Okay. Gemara asks, my timer, the Rabbi Yehuda, what is Rabbi Yehuda's reason for exempting this assailant from liability for humiliation? The Gemara explains, the verse that establishes the category of humiliation states, Ki Yineh, Anoshim, Yachdov. If men should fight with one another, a man and his brother, the word brother indicates that the verse deals only for someone who has the potential for brotherhood with Israelites. Perforce excluded from the humiliation is a Canaanite slave who does not have the potential for brotherhood with Israelites. Gemara now explains the Tanakh Kama's ruling of World War I, and the rabbis maintain that Orchifu the mitzvos, the slave is an Israelite's brother with respect to certain commandments. Hence, the laws of humiliation are applicable to him as well.
Okay. Right. So what does this mean over here? That the Eved, what does it mean, achba, over here? The pasuk that the Gomorrah brought says that these two guys are fighting, and of course there's going to be a injury, and then the Torah is going to provide compensation for the injured party at the hands of the assailant. And so the Gomorrah is picking up on this, that it says in the pasuk, ish va'achiv, a man and his brother. And it's saying that, you see from the language of the pasuk, that it said a man and his brother, we're talking about somebody, in order for him to receive compensation, he's got to have achva. What does that mean exactly? That he's his brother. He's not really his brother. So what do we mean by that? And we're saying that this would exclude an Eved who doesn't have achba. Ein lo achba. So in order to understand this further, let's take a look at what Rashi has to tell us over here. Rashi can be found at the end of the first line of the page. Lou, please.
Let's see. Yatsa Eved She'ein Lo Achva.
Yeah.
Okay, so Yatsa is to exempt.
Yeah. More or less. Yotze is like it goes out.
Right, it goes out. Goes out an Eved that is not his brother. Excludes an Eved that's not his brother.
Yeah.
Im Yisrael she'ein ba bikal. Bikahal. If he's a Jew that is not part of the congregation, the community.
Okay, so this first word im is spelled with an ayin. Now the word im with an aleph means if, but this word im with an ayin means with. With, W-I-T-H.
I thought you said with an aleph, it means with.
With an aleph, it means if.
Oh, if, and this means with. I see.
Yeah.
So with a Jew that does not come in the congregation.
Right. So this is a run on Rashi. So meaning that the comment of Rashi is a direct a continuation from the Dibra Maskil.
Okay, so excluding a slave that is not his brother
She'ein lo achva.
with a Jew that does not come with the congregation. I don't get it.
Okay, Yotze Eved. This, right? We said in the pasuk. The pasuk says that these two guys are fighting, and who are they? It's a man and his brother. And
Right.
the Gomorrah says, "Oh, we see from this pasuk that in order to get compensation in this pasuk, you have to have achva. You have to have achva. Achva, we'll call it brotherhood. It doesn't really mean anything, but we're going to see from Rashi what does it really mean? What's the halakhic definition of achva over here? So, in other words, the person of the pasuk is someone who has achba. Therefore, he's going to be getting compensated for the boshes, because this pasuk is talking about boshes. Because remember, what happens over here is that the wife of one of these two guys goes over to the other guy that's beating her husband up and grabs him in a private place, and so therefore that's going to be a payment. She's going to have to make a payment of boshes to the one who's to that person. And so this person, in order to get that compensation of boshes, we see that he's in a relationship of achva, ishva ve'achiv. So, but an eved, the Gemara says, yotze eved. This would exclude an eved, she'ein lo achva. He doesn't have achva. He doesn't have brotherhood. He doesn't have brotherhood with who? Oh, so the Rashi is answering that question. Who is it that he does not have brotherhood with? And this is Rashi's comment is running on right after the Dibra Maskil, the words of the Gomorrah. The Eved does not have brotherhood im Yisrael. He doesn't have brotherhood with Yisrael, meaning with the Jewish people. What does that mean, that he doesn't have brotherhood with the Jewish people? Says Rashi, what that means is she'ein bo b'kahal. He cannot enter the kahal. He cannot enter the congregation. What does that mean, that he cannot enter the congregation? What that means is that he cannot marry a Bas Yisrael. He cannot marry a full-fledged Jewess. So therefore, that's what means he doesn't have achva.
How do we get the idea of marriage from the word ba? I would have thought it meant he can't convert. He can't become Jewish.
From the word achva, we're getting ish va'achiv, a man and his brother, meaning these two guys are are brothers in a certain sense. What does it mean that they're brothers? They're not actual brothers. They don't have the same mother or the same father necessarily, but there is achva between them, brotherhood. Well, what does that mean? What that means is, says Rashi, that they are together with they have achva, they have brotherhood together with with the Jewish people. And what does that mean? That means that they are allowed to marry into the congregation. So marrying within the congregation means, if he's a man, that means that he's going to be allowed to marry a woman who's part of that congregation, meaning a woman who is a full-fledged Jewess. So this would exclude an Eved Kanani, who is not a full-fledged Jew. So he does not enter into the kahal, and so therefore he's somebody who does not have achba with the Jewish people. If you want to make it more literal into the brotherhood point over here, the brother that he, as a brother of this guy, so to speak, he could marry this guy's sister. I don't think he's going to want to do that after he had this fight with him, but according to the halacha, he would be allowed to marry this person's brother, because she presumably is also a member of the kahal, meaning she is a full-fledged Jewess. So that's the idea of the achba over here. You're in the kahal, you're in the congregation. And being in the congregation, it is referring to who are you allowed to marry. So Eved Kanani, he's not allowed to marry a full-fledged Jew. So that's how we're explaining according to Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, we're explaining that it means ish va'achiv, a man and his brother, somebody has brotherhood with, meaning in terms of his lineage and being able to marry into the congregation of Israel. That is the view of Rabbi Yehuda. Now, having said that, what does the Rabbanan say about that? In the Mishnah, the Mishnah said that when an assailant injures the Eved Kanani of somebody else, not his own Eved Kanani, he injures an Eved Kanani, he's chayav. He's chayav b'kulan. He has to pay everything. Now, so what is the Rabbanan going to do with this pasuk over here? A man and his brother. how do the Rabbanan understand that pasuk? It would seem like they're going to have to explain this pasuk in a different way. They can't ignore it. So sure enough, that's the next part of our Gomorrah. The Gomorrah turns to the view of the Rabbanan that say that there is compensation. One has to pay for the injury of someone else's Eved Kanani. And what about the fact that he has no achva? So where do the Rabbanan get off saying that he's got to pay? So the Gomorrah says, yes, of course he has to pay, because this Eved Kanani does have brotherhood with other Jews. What's the nature of his brotherhood? Achiv hu b'mitzvahs. They are brothers in terms of their mitzvah observance. This Eved Kanani here, he's not an ordinary non-Jew. He's a person who is obligated in the mitzvahs. He's obligated in mitzvahs to the same extent as a woman is, as a Jewish woman, a full-fledged Jewish woman. He's obligated in all losses, in all negative commandments. He's obligated. The only mitzvahs that he's not obligated in are the same mitzvahs that a woman is not obligated in. A woman is not obligated in time-bound, positive mitzvahs, positive time-bound mitzvahs. So Eved Kanani is exempt from that, but that doesn't make him that he has no achva with the Jewish people. That just means he's in a certain category of the Jewish people. Here we're defining the congregation as the congregation of mitzvah observers, of mitzvahs of the Torah. Here comes Aaron Chaimowitz. Ready to come in. Good morning, Aaron. Welcome back. Oh, he disappeared. And now Roy is in the picture. Oh, he's trying again. Very good. Action yatzliach. Let's get ready to welcome Rabbi Aaron Chaimowitz. Come on down.
I'm unmuted. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
I needed my expert here, my granddaughter.
Oh, she
She's
knows about the modern technology.
She's a different generation. What generation are you, Rabbi?
I'm of the, don't know.
You don't know?
You want a video?
No, this is fine.
Oh, you mean the older generation or the younger generation?
Or the middle generation.
I consider myself part of the younger generation, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. As long as you consider it. K-E-N.
That's the only thing that matters,
Okay.
how you look at it. That's what matters. Okay. So here we are, and we are trying to figure out what is the source of the din over here when somebody causes injury to an Eved Kanani. We have a machlokes tanoim over here in the Mishnah on this point. The Tanna Kama says when a person injures an Eved Kanani, he's got to pay. He's obligated. He's obligated to make all 5 payments, just like a full-fledged Jew. He's got to make 5 payments. Let's just review the 5 payments so that we remember what they are. First, we start off with nezek. The damages is measured by the lessening value of the injured party as a result of the injury. It's a permanent injury. And then we have workers' compensation called shevis. And then we've got ripui, medical expenses, doctors. And then we've got tsar. We have pain and suffering as a result of the injury. And then we have boshes. We have shame and embarrassment. So there's 5 different payments that have to be made when one Jew directly causes injury to his fellow Jew. 5 payments. And in our Mishnah over here, we're discussing the issue of what are the payments made when someone injures an Eved Kanani, somebody else's Eved Kanani. So the Tanna Kama says that he's chayav. He's obligated to make all the payments. He's obligated to make all 5 payments. But according to Rabbi Yehuda says, oh, but he's not chayav to pay for boshes. Not chayav to pay for the shame and embarrassment of the injury. Maybe it was injured in a embarrassing way, like the case of the like the case of the pasuk. The case of the pasuk that the Gomorrah is bringing over here as a support is talking about a case when there's 2 Jewish men that are fighting with one another and they're having the fisticuffs, and one of them, his wife is over there, and she decides that she doesn't want to have her husband get beat up like this, so she goes over there and she grabs onto the private parts of her husband's assailant. And then the pasuk says there's going to be a payment for that injury, including a payment of boshes, because it was a very embarrassing thing for that man to have that happen to him in public, that this woman did this to him. And so therefore we see that this pasuk is talking about payment for boshes specifically. It's the source for boshes in the Torah. And so over here, Rabbi Yehuda says, avodim, they have no boshes. So why avodim have no boshes? Because it says in this pasuk, Yishma Achiv, a man and his brother. A man and his brother, they're going to be fighting, and that's the whole story unfolding over there. So we see that in order to qualify to be in this parsha, you've got to be somebody who has brotherhood, says the Gomorrah. You got to have achva. You have to have achva with the Jewish people. So, who has achva with the Jewish people? Other Jews. They've got achva with the Jewish people. But according to Rabbi Yehuda, an Eved Kanani, he does not have achva with the Jewish people, because an Eved Kanani, he is not allowed to marry the sister of either of these 2 guys that are fighting with one another. So he's got no achva with them. So therefore, he would not be in this parsha to qualify for getting paid for suffering boshes. But the Rabbanan,
Thank you for your help.
the Rabbanan disagree. The the Rabbanan say that the Eved Kanani will be paid a payment of Boshus in such a case. Why? Because they understand the pasuk when it says Ish v'achiv. Sure, it's a man and his brother. So how is an Eved Kanani a brother with these two guys that are fighting with one another? True, he can't marry their sister, but says the Rabbanan, Achiv hu b'mitzvahs. An Eved Kanani, he is chayav in mitzvahs to the very same extent as a Jewish woman is. And so therefore, just like a Jewish woman is included in the brotherhood of the Jewish people, she is part of the Jewish congregation. So too, an Eved Kanani is part of the Jewish congregation. He comes in too, because he, by virtue of his the mitzvahs that he's obligated in doing. So therefore, according to the Rabbanan, the Eved Kanani would receive a payment of Boshes if such a thing would happen to him. Okay. Now the Gomorrah is going to continue. And we go again to Alan to read for us Elamiata.
Elabiata, but now the Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, who expounds the word brother to exclude the Canaanite slave, Zome, Eved Lo, Rogo, the judges should not kill Zomenim witnesses who testify against the slave. See, Sem Lo, Sher Zaman, Sos, the was written with regard to a Zoman witness, you shall do to him as he conspired to do to his brother. Since the slave is not considered a brother, the witnesses against him should not be executed. Yet the law is that the minimum punishment is given for false testimony against the slave. The Gomorrah
Wow. Mm-hmm.
should continue with the next part there.
Okay, so that's the question on Rebbe Yehuda. And the point over here is that we don't find anywhere that Rebbe Yehuda argues on this din. We don't find anywhere that in the case where witnesses would falsely be proven to be false witnesses, Eidim Zomim, against in their testimony against an Eved Kanani, that he was liable for a punishment. We don't find that Rebbe Yehuda argues and says, "Oh no, the witnesses won't be liable. We won't put on them the din of Eidim Zomim of kasher zomim lasos la'achi, because it's not his brother. He has no achva with the witnesses." We don't find that Rebbe Yehuda argues on that din. So that's difficult, because according to the reasoning that he's told us in regard to the din of Boshus, he should also argue on this din of Eidim Zomimim as well. So let's see what the Gomorrah has to say about that. What's the answer to this question? Amar Rava.
Amar Rabba Omar, Rab Sheshes. Rabba said in the name of Rab Sheshes, Omar Torah, who will be Torah, Horor, the end of the self-same verse states, and you shall destroy the evil from your midst. indicates that the guilty witnesses are subject to Roman penalty. We call more calm in all circumstances, even when they testified against a slave who was not a brother.
So in other words, we're going to execute these witnesses, not under the, not based upon the law of Edim Zomim, that we do to the Eid Zomim what he sought to do to his brother, because he's not a brother, according to Rabbi Yehuda. But nevertheless, he will be the Edim Zomim will be liable, and we will punish them to the very exact same extent because of a different pasuk that says, expunge the evil from your midst. So that will also take care of these people that plotted in their testimony to unjustly get an Eved Kanani punished. So they will be justly punished for that as well. So that's why we don't see that Rabbi Yehuda argues on this din. Okay. Very good.
1229.
1229. So we will we'll say so long for today to everybody. Yashikoik for everybody who came today to participate in the Torah learning, Bezrat Hashem. And we look forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. And in the meantime, have a great day.
Thank you, thank you.
All the best. Enjoy. Enjoy Eretz Yisrael. Enjoy your families.
Amen.
And be well.
Amen. Okay, bye.
Bye.